Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Joe here with Taking Spirit to Work, even if you have a muggle job. So we've been doing this series on how to incorporate, how to merge our spiritual life with our human everyday 9 to 5. And this has been quite the journey. I love this. This is the first time I'm doing this program or this series, and it is incorporating a ton of information and practices that Spirit has given me over the years, and now it's kind of condensed into this one practical series. So if you've missed number 1, 2, and 3, be sure to go back and watch them. They will be linked in the comments below. And if you've been following along, then welcome to number 4. Okay, so today is all about broadcasting light. So last week we were talking about, well, let's go back to number 1. So in session number 1, we talked all about how we listen just as a human being, how we filter, how we don't, all of that, where we're coming from as we're listening. And that has a huge impact on the perspective we have and how we engage with other people, especially coworkers. And this is all about relationships too. So anywhere that relationship comes up in your life, this is practical tools. Session number 2 was all about how we can redefine contribution, because most of us think that we need to do a particular thing in order to be contributive to society or to the world or the planet. And that's just not the case. And we redefined how we can look at contribution so that we feel more empowered and we recognize the impact that we're having. Oh, I like that. Okay. And session number 3 was all about resonance ripples through us. So, how resonance is felt in places. And today we're going to kind of take that a step further. We're going to not only recognize the resonance around us, the energy that we are being and others are as well, but how you can now consciously choose that to be a broadcaster of light. So this is like taking light worker to a practical, everyday space that will have a huge impact on your well-being, the well-being of those you love, and the people just living around you. So today is all about broadcasting light in a conscious manner. So, and it's shifting. I like this session a lot because it's shifting us from an unconscious acknowledgement or awareness into the conscious choosing of it, which makes a huge difference. So, and we also get to take advantage. So you don't have to do this by yourself. That is the good part. Spirit has been very clear that spirit above and Gaia below, Gaia is the earth energy, they will support you in this. And this is what we're going to learn today is how to gain that support so that you don't feel depleted and tired and exhausted from using your own energy to broadcast out into the world. That is not what we're doing. And it's not about being happy and peppy and Pollyanna all the time either. It's about being authentic to yourself, getting support from spirit, and moving forward. So, have you ever walked into a room and you instantly felt the vibe? You know what I mean, right? So, it could be stress, it could be joy, it could be whatever it is in the room. But whenever we walk into a place, if we are at all aware, and if you're here, then you are aware about how it feels. So that is broadcasting. That's the energy moving outward. I always see it kind of like heat waves, coming off of us. That's our broadcasting energy that's going out into the space that we are encompassing, that we're in. So if you can feel it, others can feel it too. So broadcasting, it's not about being happy all the time. It's about recognizing the energy, being aware. It's all about awareness, right? Is moving through us and out into the world, and then learning how to shift that, like almost like tuning your dial on a radio for those of us who are over 40, right? Remember radios, or changing the channel on your TV. works the same way. So we're going to talk about default versus conscious because this is where we can have an impact. This is where the difference becomes kind of fun. This is where, when we're doing it intentionally, everything shifts. Everything shifts. It's like you're holding the magic wand rather than just having the pixie dust fly around in the air. Oh, that's a very good analogy. Okay. So most of us are living in default mode. We walk into a room, we pick up the thoughts, the moods, the energies, and we rebound them or we pull them in and then send them back out like a Wi-Fi signal. So it's not even like we are particularly the main hub. We're not the source. We're just regurgitating the information and sending it back out. So that is unconscious broadcasting. We become like the radio tower. We're transmitting, but we're not choosing what's going out. But consciously is sharing. So when we do that, we're often in an environment and we pick up the energy and then we transmit it back out. So even if you were happy when you left the house in the morning, you were in a great mood, by the time you get to work, you may have picked up energy along the way. And we'll talk more about all of that. But then by the time you get to work and maybe you're picking up more energy from there, you're now broadcasting unconsciously, regurgitating the energy that's there. When we do it consciously, we can pause for a moment. What do I want to broadcast in this moment? What energy do I want to bring? It might be calm, it might be kindness, it might be courage. And the fun part is you'll see that you get to choose. And don't worry that you may not be feeling how you want to broadcast. That's where we're going to tap into the energy that is available through spirit and through the earth energy, Gaia, and that's going to come in handy. So we can use this. We're going to do an exercise in a little bit, all about how to tap into those energies easily so you can use them for broadcasting purposes. So let's get into a couple of distinctions here about energy. I think it's so interesting when I learned this about how places hold energy. So places on the earth hold energy of either a high vibration or a low vibration or kind of a neutrality. So just as people, places broadcast energy and environments carry their own frequencies. So some feel very high vibe and some feel very low vibe. So high vibe ones think like sacred spaces, sacred sites, healing vortexes, natural wonders. And then others can feel really heavy and draining. So these are a few kind of ideas or examples of places of each of those. So emotional or historical residue can be a cause. So places where trauma, conflict, suffering, all of those things leave an imprint on the land. So you will find a perfect example is 9/11. So the Ground Zero in New York City, I haven't been there personally, but I have heard friends say that when you walk within a couple of blocks, it just gets quiet. There's a heaviness to the air. That's fear, sadness, upset. All of that still holds that vibration. Places where battles were fought, the land can have a very different vibration. And in my researching about this, there are places where the earth, it's like trees don't grow very well. It's not good farming. And then you look back in history and find out that there was a big battle there, or a plantation home that was used for slavery. And often there will be an area perhaps where people were killed, and that area holds this denseness to it. So the earth will hold energy. Energy is everywhere and everything, including our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings. All of that has an energy. And when we transmit it, it stays put sometimes if there is enough collective to keep it there. So it's will be less strong in areas where perhaps one car accident happened. It will still be there, but perhaps if it was, oh, like the bridges in San Francisco when they collapsed and there were, that energy is still there. I've heard that story several times actually. Okay, so another thing is geopathic stress or earth energies. So fault lines, underground water streams, anywhere the earth shifts and distorts the natural flow of energy. Those are found all over the place. And there are some amazing dowsers that can locate those spots. Don't build your house here, build it here. And all that kind of stuff. There, it's amazing to watch them work. Okay, so that's another places that can hold energy. Cultural, social, or structural density. So pollution, noise, overcrowding, neglect, discord, fear. Often downtown cities will have neighborhoods, perhaps where there's a lot of homeless or a lot of strife and fear going on. Perhaps it's dense with drug use or something. That energy will feel different than 4 blocks over. The city will feel different than a town. So people have a huge impact on this. Um, so energetic drains, spaces filled with complaint, despair, fear, where it's hard to keep, you might notice that it's hard to keep your own energy steady. It's it's unconsciously you will pick up the vibration of the room rather than you coming in consciously as a stronger vibration bringing light. So this could be an office space. It could be a courthouse, could be even a school. It could be all kinds of hospitals are really big ones. So hospitals have a lot of fear, they have a lot of worry, they have a lot of death, all that kind of stuff. That will bring the energy down, and it can be in a small space as well. So naming these lenses isn't about fear. That's not what I'm aiming at here, but it's about being aware. So when we notice what's present, then we can choose. Do we unconsciously absorb what's around us, or do we consciously broadcast something different into that space? That's our choice. And because we have free will, we have the ability to do so. So remember that awareness brings clarity. Oh, always, always. And when we recognize the energy or how a place feels, you're better equipped to then choose. Because if you don't have awareness, you don't have clarity about what you want, what your choices are, then you don't have the ability to take action in a productive, impactful way, I guess. So, and also you can choose to leave that space. Perhaps you're feeling down already. Perhaps you're having a fearful moment, or you're having just a human cranky day. And going into a space, being able to read the broadcast of the energy of that space, and then you get to choose, do I want to stay here and do the exercise below? Or do I want to remove myself from the space and not add to it and not pick up on it, right? Okay, so just the same as low vibration places, there are high vibe places. Of course, there are. So, natural purity, clean water, fresh air, open skies, mountains, forests, all of those things, those are natural high vibe places. We all feel that. Sacred history. So, land honored by ceremony, prayer, ancient wisdom. It could be churches, even churches where I don't entirely agree with the religion, they still have this wonderful kind of a reverence to them. Places where people have gathered for fun. So probably um, Burning Man, the location where Burning Man has is. I'm sure the location that Woodstock was held on probably has a high vibe feeling to it. Um, Coherent energy flows. So the same as where there were fault lines in the earth that were or underwater streams, we can have coherence in the earth. Gaia has places where the earth lines, the elements, and the rhythms are harmonious, where they all line up in synchronicity. So, and collective joy or reverence. So, places where people gather for celebration, for worship, for healing. Perhaps it's a retreat center that just has this wonderful feeling to it because that's why people came there. Okay, so when we step into these environments, we often feel uplifted without even trying, which is kind of good, right? So, our breath slows, our shoulders drop. And our energy naturally rises. So whether it's high vibe places or low vibe places, the key is the same. We can draw from the abundance of Source and Gaia to bring light into heavy places and amplify what's already present in the high vibe spots. So just like when we do Reiki, I'm a Reiki practitioner as well. When I do Reiki, it's not my energy that I'm using. Yes, of course, some of it gets pulled through, but I am tapping into source because if I was to do an hour session with somebody with just my energy, I would be on the floor afterwards. So it's a practice of learning, which we're going to do in a few minutes, to tap into source, to pull energy from the earth, which is exactly what I do for the toroidal field, which is my protection mechanism. That I pull up earth energy through my feet. So in this process, we're doing exactly the same thing. So let's just do that right now. So let's close our eyes. If you're comfortable, if you're listening to this while you're driving, don't close your eyes. But otherwise, if you're comfortable and in a safe place, soften your gaze, close your eyes, take a breath in. And as you exhale, let your shoulders drop. Now just bring to mind a place where you felt heavy or low vibes. It could be an office, it could be a friend's house, or it could be um, anywhere that you visited. Perhaps it's the last time you were in a hospital. It might be the workplace full of tension, a room with clutter, that will do it, or a public space like a mall that's just overcrowded. Just notice what happens in your body as you recall it. Does your breath change? Do your shoulders tighten? Do you feel pressure in your chest? Oh, or a dip in your energy? No judgment, just noticing. We're becoming aware. And now we're going to take another breath and we're going to let that image float away out of our mind. And next, we're going to bring in a place where you feel expansive, uplifted, safe. Maybe you're standing in nature in the forest or by the ocean. Perhaps you're in a room filled with love and laughter. Notice again what happens in your body. Does your chest feel more open? Can you breathe deeper? Do you feel warm or light? For some, you might even notice colors. through your third eye. This practice is called energetic scanning. It's like we're a dolphin that's putting out a sonic sound to see what energy is in around us. We're sending out our echo into the space, and what reverberates back at us is what's occurring outside of us. So our body becomes the reflection or the indicator of what is currently going on around us because we're looking to the outside. We're noticing what's occurring in our body, but the energy that we're tapping into is outside of us. So just like sonar, that's what we're doing. This is energetic scanning. So now here's the shift. You don't have to passively absorb the broadcast space around you. I will also be doing a video all about protection soon, so I will link that when it's up and in on YouTube. So you can bring your own light into it along with the high vibe energy of Source and Gaia. So what the first step is, now we've scanned, we know what's occurring in the space. Now we're going to choose what intentional energy do you want to bring into that low vibe space. Perhaps it's a sense of calm, empowerment, forgiveness, or even giggles and freedom. It's totally up to you. Now, imagine now that Spirit is sending you a stream of white light that is the perfect frequency match for your intention. So if you've picked calm, that white light that's being sent from source will have the frequency of calm. If you picked giggles, it will have the frequency of giggles. Source is right on it in a heartbeat. We make a choice and it goes into action. So the energy is flowing over you, through you, and all around you. And it's even pooling at your feet, soaking into the earth. So just imagine this like wonderful stream of white light, perfect frequency through your crown chakra, all around you like a fountain or a waterfall. You're glowing like a lantern or a lighthouse. And this light, combined with yours, moves into that heavy space you first thought of. Now you can see the energy waves going out of you with this white light. It's all together now. Your energy, your intention, earth and Gaia, spirit from above, everything is being emanated out. You are now the beacon of light. You're softening the space, lifting it, transmuting it, and making it available for others. Because now when somebody walks near you, they are going to feel that vibe. And that is fun. One last breath. Come back. That's the fun part. So you can start to recognize what occurs in spaces when you do this intentional broadcasting. Notice people will start to feel differently. They'll start to interact differently. They will feel more relaxed or have more giggles. Okay, so what you just experienced is the foundation of conscious broadcasting. You noticed what a space was sending into you, and then you chose what you wanted to send into it. And this practice is becoming an intentional influence rather than an unconscious receiver. There is a distinct difference with a mountain of difference in impact and contribution and how you feel. So let's do some tools and practices for broadcasting light. So here are some. And yes, I'm reading my notes. Okay, so let's make this a practical because you know me, I like practical, absolutely the practical psychic. So, number one, broadcast check in. So, pause at different points of your day or when you move from space to space. What am I broadcasting right now? No judgment, just awareness. There's no need to think that you have to change it from what it is currently. We're practicing, you're building muscle. You don't have to, you're not going to have a six pack going to the gym once. This takes some practice. So at first this week, just notice, what am I broadcasting? Oh my gosh, like, yeah. I've been doing this for the week and it's very interesting when I check in and I'm like, I've set my timer on my watch so that I can check in, remind me to check in. And all of a sudden I'll be like, ooh, what was I just watching on YouTube? Because I just rebounded that right out, and that is not what I want. Okay, so light switch number two. So first check in, number two is the light switch. So imagine flipping on your inner switch, light switch. It doesn't mean forcing positivity, but it does mean letting yourself glow in the way that you already can. So wherever you are, tapping back in and using source. We are source. We are an integral, we are a fractal of source. So tapping in is easy. And once you practice doing it, you will feel fantastic, even in the middle of challenges. So, number three, daily broadcast ritual. In the morning, choose a word, a phrase, or an intention. Something like peace, clarity, joy, giggles. I don't know what's the word giggles today coming up. Then imagine sending that out like waves all day. And you might have to remind yourself because we will get sucked back into somebody else's energy. Number four, clearing rituals. If a space feels heavy, use simple practices like walking, meditation, smudging, cleansing with intention. Ask your angels to, my favorite is just to ask the angel to come in and with a big giant wing, swoop out all the old energy and bring in the new. And then you can just imagine that after they've cleaned it out with stagnant energy, then you can imagine your light coming to fill the space. So, integration and challenge. So think about how this works, how it links, sorry, to last week's session on resonance. And then when we tune ourselves, others will naturally vibrate with us. Just like I used in the last video about how when you hit a tuning fork, if there's a piano in the room, then that string will also vibrate. You want to be the stronger energy in the room. Excuse me. We're going to let, once we broadcast consciously, we're going to let resonance do its job and others will feel the influence. If I were broadcasting my light on purpose, what would my workplace or my home or anywhere you frequent feel like? So if I were broadcasting my light on purpose, consciously choosing the energy, what difference could that make? Like seriously. Just take a moment to even reflect on one difference it could make because we know that it's broadcasting much farther than you even notice. So this week, notice your broadcast and at least once intentionally shift it, even if it's a tiny adjustment from stress to patience or self-doubt to quiet strength. Remember, your light doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. That's not what we're about. And you do not have to change. You can go about your day. You can do your job. You can be quiet. You can be behind the scenes or you can be front and center. It doesn't matter. So it just needs to transmit. You just need to broadcast the light. And when you shine, you give others permission to do the same. Okay, so I love this. So may your light reach the places that need it most, seen or unseen. May you become an intentional influence, drawing from Source and Gaia, amplifying what's beautiful and gently transforming what's heavy. I love that. Okay, That's it, guys, for today. Be sure to tune in for session 5, which will be up soon. And thank you for joining me on this journey. And somewhere up here, YouTube has put a video that they think you will enjoy. So click through and we will see you all later. Mwah.